really late at night, and I ain't trying to wake anybody up, so you're gonna get kind of quiet voice this time. Also, yes, that is Path of Exile in the background. No, this video is not worth production value of closing the game before recording it. I'm ranking every single Skittles product. Yesterday, yeah, it's still the first. Yesterday was Halloween, and I love Skittles, so you know, the Halloween candy Skittles. And then I found this just tier maker, and it's every single Skittles product, and apparently extra chewy mints. I have not eaten all of these, like I've not had all of these, and some of them I have had, but it was so long ago I couldn't tell you when it was. But I'm just gonna go through them. The ones that I haven't had in a while, I'm going to try and just like rank off my memory. The ones that I've never had, I've got a fairly good idea of like what Skittles are, so I'm just gonna rank them based off of what I think they would be as a Skittle. I will mention if I've had them or not before putting them on the list, so you'll know that, you know, my rankings aren't exactly accurate for the ones that I've never had before. Should I start with original? Yes. Am I going to? No, we're going to go in the order that they're on this list, starting with these ones. Dark Side Skittles. By the looks of this really small image, it's really hard to read. I have had these before. They're pretty good. They're normal Skittles. They've got the blue and purple, and I believe they don't have yellow. I don't remember what the exact flavors are, but honestly, and I'll get to original later, originals are an A tier. These are exactly the same. Slightly different flavor profile, still pretty good. Next is Skittles Bubblegum. I believe this is the Sour Skittles Bubblegum. I'm not 100% sure. That's the case. I believe that this is Sour Skittles Bubblegum. And the only thing stopping it from being and should not exist is E. This one I have not had, but I absolutely hate gum that is not mint gum. Mint gum is the, like, to me that's the only flavor that gum should be. If you're gonna have like a non-mint gum, it's better to have something that is just like has a good flavor. And the reason I like mint gum is because it's basically a breath mint. You can easily pop it in. This is not that. Next is the original Sour Skittles. That's easy. SS Plus God tier. I did not write these, by the way. These tiers came with the tier maker. Sour Skittles, they're just better. They are just better in every way than basic Skittles. Give you a little secret here. It's not quite as good as Sour Skittles, but if you ever got normal Skittles, and for some reason citric acid, you can probably put you know, 2 and 2 together on this one. But just get like a little Ziploc bag, some citric acid in there, and then toss your Skittles in that, shake up the bag a little bit, boom, you've got kind of like homemade Sour Skittles. I say kind of homemade because you still have to have Skittles. Like you can't, oh maybe you can, but I can't make that at home. But still, original Sour Skittles, best in the game. Then we've got Tropical Skittles, which are exactly the same as Dark Side. Well, I mean, obviously they're not exactly the same as Dark Side, but they're the same vibes as Dark Side. Same kind of A ranking. They're just really good Skittles, you know? And if this was on an all candy tier list, by the way, Skittles would be an S, but since this is a Skittles tier list, I'm normalizing to A. So you've got your Tropical. It's the same thing. You got slightly more vibrant, isn't quite the right words, but more like fruity flavors, even though Skittles are already fruity. Again, kind of reskinned Skittles. Very good. A tier. Then, in the opposite to the Dark Side ones, you've got Bright Side ones. I've never had these before, but judging by the fact that Dark Side Skittles are A tier, and by the fact that these Bright Side Skittles seem to be the same thing, but they have like pink and light blue instead of these ones purple and dark blue, I'm gonna put them in B. But the only reason they're going in B and not A is because I haven't had them before. So that pink and that light blue might not be as good as I know the purple and dark blue ones are. Next, you've got Skittles Sweet and Sours, which, looking at the packaging, isn't actually sour Skittles. For the Sours, looking at the packaging, it just means that they've got, like, the green ones, and the... usually the pink ones are, like, a grapefruit, so I'd imagine that, you know, that's kind of art. But honestly, that's going to go the same as Brightside. If it turns out that those are actual sour Skittles, then it would go S tier, because it's right between normal Skittles, or I guess technically Brightside, and sour Skittles. But again, those don't look like they're actual sour Skittles. It looks like it's just the, you know, citrus or sour flavors. Then you've got Skittles Wild Berry, easy S tier. You know, I said for Tropical and for Dark Side that, oh, those are just, like, you know, slightly different flavored of Skittles, so those only deserve to be, you know, those deserve to be in the same tier as A. But Wild Berry is one that just doesn't miss. You know, Tropical, like, personal favorite, probably should have mentioned this at the start. Personal favorite in the original Skittles is Red. Red are the best original Skittles. I also realized something. When I said Skittles, the dark side, the purple ones are different, I believe it's because they are a different purple. Please don't execute me. I know there are purple Skittles. I just noticed that though. But the Wild Berry are all hits. Like, I personally am not a huge fan of, in the original Skittle package, I'm not a huge fan of the greens. They're not bad, but they're like my least favorite. I wouldn't be able to tell you that I have a least favorite Wild Berry, but they don't reach the peaks of sour. Nothing reaches the peaks of sour. Okay, these are called Zombie Skittles. I'm looking at them now. I have never had these before. I'm gonna be honest, they've got this like pale green that just looks kind of gross. So they're going D tier. I'm probably underrating them because I've never had them before, but that pale green just immediately puts me off. But it's still not gum. Remember how I said that nothing reaches the peaks of sour Skittles? These are Wild Berry sour Skittles, which if normal Wild Berry goes above where I'm going to put original once I get to them, they're all the way at the end here, then obviously sour Wild Berry has to go right above that. These aren't going to be in any order, but just know that if they were, Wild Berry would be going over here. But the order they're going into the tier is how late into the list were they. Maybe at the end I'll reorganize all the tiers, but for now, I mean, better than original, and then sour being the best. Yeah, obviously the sour Wild Berry are going to be up there. These are Skittles blenders, not the 3D modeling software, but they're mixed flavors. Never had them before. Gonna be honest, I like the simple elegance. Why am I talking like I'm some like aristocrat? The simple elegance of an original Skittle, of a one-flavored Skittle. I'm gonna put them in C. You could probably tell by the fact that I put them in C that that's where I was going to put them. You don't have to overcomplicate it. You've got Skittles. They're great. Just like Frosted Flakes, why bother making it more complicated than it needs to be? Again, never had them, so once I do, if I do, who knows, then they might go up in ranking, but honestly, they're sitting at a C. These next ones are crazy sours. These are going to go straight to S. They're very similar. So there is also a third sour, by the way. Crazy sours, from what I remember, are worse than normal sours. They're kind of similar to... You know, I might be thinking of the other sours now that I think about it. This down here, this sours, I might be thinking of those. They both go in S tier, but these might have different placements if I'm thinking of the other ones. But I believe it's these ones that are more similar to my like homemade sour Skittles of Skittles plus citric acid, which, as I said, doesn't quite reach the peaks of those sour ones, but I mean, come on, they're still sour Skittles. You got Imposter Skittles, that's going straight to the same spot as Blenders. From what I remember, I believe I had these exactly once, and it's literally just, you ever had like those Airheads candies? And sometimes you'd have the white one that was supposed to be like a random flavor, but it was actually just like a mix of all of that. I forget what the whole thing about that, but it's similar to that, where it's just like, hey, these, you don't know what you're gonna get, which it's like, if all Skittles were equal, then I would say, yeah, these would just be A tier like the rest of them. But it's the fact that there is, despite them all being great, there is such a wide gap between red Skittles at the peak and green Skittles at the valleys that thinking you're getting a red and getting a green can't happen because none of the ones in the Skittles Imposters are red. But you get my point. Another one I've not had, Freeze Pop Skittles. I'm going to put them in the same spot as these bright side ones. And the sweet and sour. Freeze Pops, I feel like, are hard carried by the fact that they're cold and you typically only have them when it's warm out. But the flavor's not bad. Also, who knows what Freeze Pops these are, because, like, are they Freeze Pop brand Freeze Pops? It doesn't look like it, because if they were, they'd probably have the logo. But maybe that just is Freeze Pop logo. Never had these ones before, but if they've got, you know, the flavor of a Freeze Pop, you know, trademark, then I would say put them in the same, like, level as the other flavors that are just kind of like Skittles, but, you know, slightly different flavors, but nothing weird about them that I haven't had before. This is a mix-up of both Wild Berry and Tropical, which is going to go B again. It's just like the blended, it's just like the sweet and sour, even, or the sweet and sours, even though Wild Berry and Tropical are both above B tier, S tier for Wild Berry, A tier for Tropical. You know, if I want Wild Berry, I want Wild Berry. If I want Tropical, I want Tropical. I don't want to get my Skittles, think I'm getting a handful of berry Skittles, and get a pineapple one. I don't actually remember if Tropical has pineapple. It's been a while, but it's the same as the Imposters, slightly better because at least all the flavors are like definitely good. The same as the blends. It's like, you know, I want to know what I'm getting. Next is Fruits and Sours. Gets one step above Sweets and Sours because it's the same thing. It's just default Skittles plus Sours, I believe, plus Sour Skittles. Don't quote me on that. These ones are another one that I believe, had exactly once. It was so long ago. But yeah, it's basically just a slight upgraded version of the Sweets and Sours. Love Mix, Valentine's, D tier. America Mix. Summer Splash. Summer Splash I've not had before. I'm gonna guess it would be similar to Tropical, but as I've been doing with all of them, I tend to throw them a tier down if I've never had them before, because I could be surprised. So, you know, Tropicals go A tier. Summer Splash tends to have that, again, I said it in Tropical, but kind of like vibrant almost feeling. So, you know, the summer themed candies, so it's probably still pretty good, but one tier down. Seattle Mix, which appears to just be blue and greens. That's if that's true. I mean, blues are good, don't get me wrong, but greens, nah, that's D tier Skittle. I mean, but blues are really good. You know, if I had this before, because I haven't, but if I had this before, I'd probably go C tier because blues are really good. But I haven't, so it might be a different blue or a different red because, I mean, it's a Seattle mix. I said red, different green because it's a Seattle mix. I said red because the Skittle I has a red one as the dot. But I drop it down the tier because I've never had it, which means that those might be worse blues than, you know, your typical, like, dark side blues. And those might be better greens than your typical greens, but they also might be worse greens than your typical greens. Not worth the risk. Yeah, this is extra chewy mints gum. I don't know if this was like a crossover with Skittles or something. Actually, these aren't gum. Okay, I was about to put them in E tier again. But similar to what I said with the gum, where I was like, hey, if you're doing gum, it's kind of like a breath mint. Where it's like it's just something to chew on to like kind of freshen up your breath. Well, these are the exact opposite of this. It's a mint candy. I'm not a huge fan of mint candies. For the same reason. It's like if I want something minty, it's because I kind of want it to like freshen my breath, not because it's necessarily sweet. You can probably guess where the mint Skittles are going. And I've never had those before. Yeah, these look like they might have been made like in collaboration with Skittles. I don't know, maybe Extra and Skittles are, you know, both from the same parent company. But again, they're a step above gum because at least they're not gum. But they're, you know, step below most Skittles because they still are mint flavored. And that's not to say I don't like mint flavor. I like mint flavored foods, and again, I like mint flavored gums. And I like mint teas. And when I say mint flavored foods, I don't necessarily mean like super heavy mint flavor. Like as like a mint garnish can be really good. But this is a Skittles tier list, not a what do I like as like herbs on my food. These next one are called Cauldron Skittles, and I don't know exactly what they're about. They're gonna go C tier because they look like they've got yellow and orange, which are pretty good. They look like they've got the dark side blues and the potentially dark side purples as well. They also look like they have some green that's not quite as gross as the pale green here, but not quite default green. So they're gonna go C. Again, haven't had them, but I mean yellow, blue, orange, that's pretty good. Dark side blue, purple, if that's what those are, pretty good. We'll take them. Okay, so these are the light blue Skittles. These ones I've been trying to get my hands on for like years. Like it feels like a little disingenuous to put them in SS tier, like SS plus even. But at the same time, I've heard from everyone that has gotten these that they are amazing. But for years I've been trying to get my hands on these things and just cannot, for the life of me, find them. Well, okay, not even find them. I found them, but they've just haven't been like allowed to get them for some reason. Like you know how like they've got like certain things are like locked behind like gates? Not gates. Gates is the wrong word. But like if you try to buy cigarettes at a gas station, typically they're like you have to go up to the front desk. These things seem to be under the same like fucking lock and key. Because like I found them and they were like, hey, we have these in stock at this store. I went to the store and they were like, sorry, no can do. And I was like, what is wrong with you? But again, it feels a little disingenuous to put these in like the peak of the peak tier with sour and sour wild berry. But with, I mean, first of all, they're Skittles. And second of all, they've just had such amazing reviews from everyone that I have to put them in top tier. Okay, then we've got Holiday Mix Skittles, which are reds. Like, if it was just reds, they'd be going S tier. Then it appears to be two different types of greens, neither of which, you know, which if it were the two greens, it'd be down to, like, probably B or C tier. But neither of which appear to be the default green that comes in your original Skittles. So it's going to go to B, because either of those greens could still be your default green, in which case, you know, it'd be dropped down a little bit. But still, good chunk of reds. Love myself some reds. Next is chocolate Skittles. You know, typically you're going to Skittles for like fruity style flavor. But at least they're not M&Ms, so I'll still give them the C tier. if so kind of almost paradoxically, M&Ms, if M&Ms didn't exist, these would actually be lower tier. But since they're not, you know, they're small circular chocolate. I guess these are chocolate flavored, aren't they? These are another one that's been so long since I've had that it's just like it's tough for me to remember. I don't remember if these were chewy or if they were actual chocolates. But either way, I still stand by they'll be C tier. If M&Ms didn't exist, they would actually be D tier because they wouldn't be like a better small circular chocolate. Dessert Skittles. I know I've been hyping up Skittles this entire time, but like they're sweet enough. I don't know if I've never had these ones or if I just haven't had them in a while. There's quite a few pink bags of Skittles. Okay, there's like 4 pink bags of Skittles, but like they're sweet enough. So trying to, it's kind of like birthday cake ice cream. It's like it's already ice cream. It's already so sweet. Why'd you need to make it birthday cake? Confused Skittles, aside from like, you know, yeah, same. They go in the same spot as imposters. Like, yeah, I mean, I get what you're going for, but like, I want to know my flavors. I have no idea what this one is. Let me see. I'm sorry, I've never seen these before in my life. It looks like they're called Skittles Unlimited, but it's not in English, so I'd imagine I've never had them because they don't appear to be English. They appear to be French. Default E tier. I've never seen them before. I have no idea what's going on with them. It's such an old picture. The colors are already faded, so I can't tell if these are different colors or what. But alright, you're the same tier as the gum. These are also sour Skittles, but I think this might be small package or different language. These, I thought there was an actual third. That's what I was thinking of these, but now that I'm looking at them, I'm not sure. But I think that these are the same as these, just in a different package. But that might be why I was confusing the two, because I saw 3 in the list. Default Sours, Goated, Crazy Sours, and then these other ones that are Sour Sirs with a U. Very confused about that now. Outing myself as not nearly as much of a Skittles expert as I positioned myself as at the start of this. But, I mean, sour Skittles, but not default sour, S tier. Fresh mint Skittles. I already told you what I think about mints. So, rainbow flag, so maybe up a tier? No. Licorice. This one will probably get me executed. S tier. I love licorice. I absolutely love black licorice. It's gotta be one of my favorite candies. Licorice all sorts. Oh, so good. Just like normal black licorice. I'm not the biggest fan of salted licorice, but I still think it's pretty good. I just love licorice. You got the licorice all sorts, licorice jelly beans. Oh, so good. Licorice Skittles. This got a bunch of different ones. It's got like black licorice, vanilla licorice, licorice spice. Oh, they're so good. Wish I could find them. I could probably order them online. Ah! Anyway, still trying not to wake anybody up. These are another one similar to like Skittles Unlimited that I've literally never seen before. They look like they're called tangy Skittles, so actually, if I'm reading that correctly, those do go up a tier. I'm a fan of tangy flavors. But again, never had them, so couldn't really tell you. This screenshot's from like an old, looks like ad that was recorded on CRT. That should tell you how old they are. Skittles citrus, you know, it's got orange, which are pretty decent, but also it's got a lot of green, which is no. It's got yellows. I think it's got pinks as well. Oh, does it even have yet? Yeah, it's got yellows. It's got yellow, orange, pink, and green. Actually, that can go up a tier. First, I didn't realize it had pink as well. I think it was yellow, orange, green. And I was like, C tier, the green dragged it down. But it's got the pinks. The pinks bring it back up. A trick plays football Skittles. Not necessarily should not exist, but I mean, it's an NFL partnered Skittles. Not much I can say about that one. Never had them. Looks like they've got blue, teal, the zombie pale green, which just again just kind of seem gross. Pink. Some of the flavors seem okay, but they've got some weird colors. And who knows, maybe these ones that I've never had that have like weird looking colors don't actually have weird flavors. They might just be recolored, in which case that one's on me. Already told you how I feel about mint Skittles. Oh, Skittles Chewies. Those are another that are like on par with default Skittles. These appear to be a German package. Unfortunately, it's been so long that I can't read what that German says. Like it says, Bonbons ohne Hülle. Apologies to everyone who's German who had to hear me try to pronounce that. But I have had, not the German ones of these, but I've had like chewy Skittles, which obviously all Skittles are kind of chewy. But these ones specifically, if these are the ones that I'm thinking of, you've ever had, forget what they're called. I think they're called Sweet Tarts. Let me look this. Nope, not Sweet Tarts. Okay, yeah, if you ever had chewy Sweet Tarts, I believe they're the same as that. Which is like, they're so weird. They're chewy, but they're almost like dry. And they like, if you ever seen those videos of like mud slides, but like the mud's like slides off in like sheets almost, and you see like weird like almost square patterns behind it. I'm not going to do the editing. This video is not worth the editing to find one of the videos that I'm talking about. But if you ever had Sweet Tarts Chewies, from what I remember, these are basically those, but Skittle flavors and Skittle shaped. Not S tier, but like, you know, S tier as in normal Skittles are S tier, but for the sake of this tier list, they've been normalized down to A. Skittles Cooler. This appears to be like a Skittles ice cream bar. It appears to be like an actual, like a frozen ice cream bar with a Skittles coating, which sounds pretty good. I'm gonna put it B tier because I've never had it, but that sounds really good actually. Like I was talking about the freeze pop ones, and I'm fairly certain that these freeze pop ones are Skittles flavored like freeze pops, but this one, it's, again, there's no way I could put this lower than the freeze pops. Skittles Crazy Cores. No, you go the same spot as imposters and whatnot. I want Skittles because I want my flavor. You're the same as the blenders. I want Skittles because I want my flavor, my one flavor per Skittle. Now, am I going to eat a mouthful of all 5, you know, to get a bunch of different flavors? You know it, but still. Skittles Orchards. Pretty good. A or B? I'm going to go with B because I haven't had these in so long. Maybe ever? Have I had these before? I recognize them. Yeah, I'm going to go with B because I'm unsure if I've had these. I think I recognize them, but I might just be recognizing a green package. If I could guarantee that I had eaten these before, I would be like, alright, yeah, A tier. But since I'm not 100% sure, they appear to have reds, oranges, and greens. They're called orchards, so that would make sense, you know. Apples, strawberries, and oranges. That would make sense. And those are pretty good, except for the green. Okay, Skittles Riddles. The colors don't match the flavors. Wonder where that goes. Sweet Heat. Okay, I haven't had Skittles, hot Skittles, but I love like spicy stuff, like spicy candies, like your Red Hots. Those are the only ones I can think of right now. Is Red Hots. Hot tamales, the candy, not the actual food. Though I guess no one would actually. Maybe someone would. Maybe that's what people call them. But I feel like no one actually calls them hot tamales. They say like spicy tamales or just tamales. But the candy plus Red Hots. So I mean, even though I've never had these, a spicy Skittle, oh, sounds so good. So they can make it to A tier. Original. I said this whole thing was normalized to originals being at A. Like I said before, all pretty good. Greens, not my favorite, but, you know, still gonna eat them. Smoothie Mix Skittles. Another one that I haven't had, but sounds pretty decent. That's C tier. Getting close to the end here. Fruit Skittles. Pride Edition. You know, they removed the colors from this. During Pride, only one rainbow matters. They're just normal Skittles as far as I know. But they also stand for something, which, like, you know, maybe that moves them up a tier, because, like, hell yeah, but also maybe that moves them down here, because, like, performative corporate activism. So, you know, they just get to stick here. And the final one on this list is Carnival Skittles. A little bit unfortunate to end on one that I've never had before, but sounds pretty good. So, I mean, it goes C tier. Oh, was this 32-minute recording worth it for one entire joke? No, but I mean, it also was like a relatively serious, if not very fast-paced Skittle tier list. All of these except for the obvious joke one, well, the obvious joke 2, these are extra, not Skittles. Well, okay, obvious joke 3, because, you know, this, I made a comment, sorry, you're getting a little bit of rambling at the end of this video. My last video was a Warframe video about the prices of stuff in Warframe, and I said, I was talking about how, like, oh, I'm going to mention the prices in American dollars. And I said, because, that's where I live. That's kind of like a little, you know, meta commentary on what the fuck is going on in this country right now. And someone, I live in the South now, so I'm allowed to say this, someone, bless their heart, said, if you don't like America, just move. And, in a moment of weakness, I removed that comment because I was like, fuck off. I mentioned this, I don't post on many social media sites. I hate that Blue Sky is cringe, because Twitter should be worse, but, like, it's where everyone is, but, like, maybe I should get off of it. But I just posted the fucking Mr. Boss clip where he's like, of course! Fuck, that's genius, why didn't I think of that? So I'm making this joke for you. Person who watched my one Warframe video made a comment that is now gone. You came back and for some reason sat through 32 minutes of me ranking Skittles and making pretty much one singular joke with Path of Exile noises in the background. Congrats! You've been mentioned. I don't remember what your username was, so sorry about that. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry at all. Skittles! Goodbye.